give up with things. We have to, if something happens that isn't the way we wanted it to go, we have to stop and say, what else could I do to make this better? And if you're an inventor, that is the way you have to think. Things would not be invented if something went wrong and that was it, and the inventor gave up. We do not give up, we keep going. So today we're gonna focus on some poems and a fictional story to help us learn about some different inventions and how some problems were solved. So right now I'm going to share our screen. Okay. And I'm gonna bring up our lesson. All right. And you should be seeing, it's Thomas Edison, who we read about yesterday. So if you remember, Thomas Edison was a very famous inventor who invented so many things like the light bulb. He also invented machines that made sounds as well, but he never gave up. He was a hard worker, even at a young age. Remember, at the age of 15, he wrote his own newspaper, and at the age of 12, he started his own business of selling candy and newspapers. So I am sure many inventors are like Thomas Edison. We are just gonna move on to a couple poems. Now, a poem is different than a story. When you are a poet, you can break all the rules. You can just put words. They don't have to make sense. They do not have to be in sentences. So this first poem is called Windshield Wipers. And I want you to think about, how do windshield wipers solve problems for us today? How did this invention help our lives become better? So let me read the poem. Squish, squish, squeegee squish, tossing rain side to side. Squish, squish, squeegee squish, flap, flap, puddle glide. Slosh, slosh, sloshing wash. Plish, plish, tidal toss, squeegee, squish, swish, swish, sway, a perfect windshield wiper day. So raise your hand. How do windshield wipers help our lives? Who would like to answer that question? How are windshield wipers helpful to us? Haley?
When it's raining or snowing, it clears the window.
Yes, very good, Haley. So when it is raining or snowing, we can still go in our cars and drive because we have those inventions that will move the rain and snow out of the way so we can still see through the windshield. I wonder what they did before windshield wipers. People may have not been able to drive during stormy weather because they wouldn't be able to see through their windshield wiper. Now here's another poem about a very simple invention that we use every day, but if they were never invented, our lives would be much more difficult. So this poem is called Scissors. It's written by Rebecca Kai Doltich. And as I read this poem to you, you tell me, how are scissors helpful to our lives? X slides open, squeezes shut. Snip, snip, snip. Carve, cut. Silver mouth yawning wide. Clip, clip, clip. Split, divide. Splash, gnash, dice up, dice. Crisscross, criss. Slice, slice. Paper cutters, steel shears. X swings out, then disappears. So how do the invention of scissors help us with our daily life? What do scissors help us do? Mohsen?
There's a lot of rhymings.
There are a lot of rhyming words, but what do scissors help us do?
Scissors help us do like cut out stuff like we can't.
Yeah, yes. If we need to cut something, what do we turn to? We usually turn to a pair of scissors. If we did not have scissors, we would have to tear things and then they wouldn't look so nice. So those are just two examples of poems that are written about different inventions that have helped our life. Now I am going to stop sharing our video or our screen. Let me stop share. And now I want to read you a book. I'm going to unmute everybody. If it's hard for you to hear, I will mute you again. But I want to see. Can everybody see the book that I have in my hand? Give me a thumbs up if you can see it. So I'd like to read the title. Landon, can you read the title of this book, please?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Landon. Let me unmute you. Can you unmute yourself, Landon?
I'm just doing this. If I built a car.
Very good. It's called If I Built a Car, and it's written by Chris Van Dusen, or Dusen. Now, this is a fiction story. The author made this story up about a boy that wanted to invent his own car. As we're reading, I want you to remember that fictional stories have characters, a setting, and events. And as we are reading, I want to make sure we understand what is happening in the story. So I am going to mute everyone, and let's stop typing for now, and let's just listen to the story. Okay? All right. So this is called If I Built a Car. Okay, I'm going to read it, and then I'll show you the pictures. Jack, from the back seat, said to his dad, "This car is okay. This car is not bad, but it's just a car. Nothing great, nothing grand. It's nothing at all like the car I have planned." So right away, we know the main character. Raise your hand who can tell me the main character's name. Haley?
Jack.
Jack. Jack's our main character, and he wants to build a new car. I'll work through the night to create a design, constantly analyze, tweak, and refine. I'll study jet rockets and look at old planes, contemplate buses and zeppelins and trains to make it as smooth, as sleek as an eel. I'll borrow ideas from the Wienermobile. So sit back, relax, stay right where you are. It's time to reveal my spectacular car. And you can see he's looking at the Wienermobile. The Wienermobile is Oscar Mayer. It's shaped like a hot dog. He's going to use some ideas from there. I'm sure a lot of inventors use different people's inventions at different ideas. You'll see that I've added a lot of neat things: flush fender skirts and retractable wings, 3 headlights up front, 4 taillights in back, plus 2 giant fins like our old Cadillac. My brand new design will be curvy and round with special jet engines that don't make a sound. I'll paint it bright colors with accents of chrome and top it all off with a plexiglass dome. Wow, he has some great ideas, but I wonder if all of them will work. He used the word retractable. Does anybody know what that word means? What does the word retractable mean? Raise your hand if you know. Does anybody know what retractable means? Abel, do you know?
No.
Retractable means that you can pull it out, but it'll go right back in. So if you have a sweeper that has a retractable cord, it'll spin right back up into the machine after you're done. That's retractable. I'll build a safe car, just as safe as I can, because safety is job number 1 in my plan. It may look like steel from afar, you can't tell, but it's actually made of polymer gel, a space-age concoction that I just invented. So in a collision, my car won't get dented. It simply absorbs what we happen to hit, and folks would be fine in the seats where they sit. I think that's pretty cool if someone were to invent a car that would not dent, and we would be just fine if we were in a crash. Here's the next page. Come with me now and I'll show you inside. I've put in a couch. It's comfy and wide, plus a fireplace, fish tank, and here's something cool. The floor can slide open, and look, there's a pool. Now, as a person who is listening to his ideas, do you hear any problems that might occur? Raise your hand. What might be a problem that might occur with his car? Anybody want to share? What do you think is going to go wrong with his car? Mohsen, thank you for participating. What do you think is going to go wrong, Mohsen?
I think the boosters are not gonna work because you need a lot of stuff to make that.
What do you think is not going to work?
The engine.
The engine? Well, what about having a pool in a car? Do you think that's going to work?
No, it's gonna fall out.
Yeah, and what problems, I want you to raise your hand, think about this, everybody. What problems could happen if you had a pool in your car? What problems could happen when you're driving down the road? Haley?
You could fall out of the car.
Yeah, because there's no seatbelts, and plus, I bet there would be water everywhere, splashing around. So that just doesn't sound safe to me. He said he wanted to build a safe car, but I don't see seatbelts anywhere. Oh my goodness gracious, this looks like a really interesting place, doesn't it? Let's find out what he decides to do now. Now, step right this way to the back of the car and note the red button marked Instant Snack Bar. Say you were hungry and wanted a treat. Just press it and instantly good things to eat appear in a flash, anything that you please, from hazelnut pudding to aerosol cheese. Oh, now that sounds delicious, but does anybody think there's going to be a problem with that? What would be the problem if he put in an instant snack bar? And I'm glad Haley's participating, but I would like other children to answer as well. Logan, what do you think would happen?
They all gonna eat.
Well, but what problems would happen in a car that has a pool and it has a couch and now it has an instant snack bar? What do you think would happen inside the car?
It wouldn't close because it would, when they're driving, it would just go everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. I think there'd be lots of bumps on the road and all of the food would go everywhere. It would land in the pool. There would be a big mess. All right, let's see what he decides now. After you've eaten, you might like a nap. And Robert the robot makes napping a snap. I've built him right into the back of the chair. He's out of the way. You won't know that he's there. But when you get sleepy and rise from your seat, the chair spins around without missing a beat. Robert the robot will take the controls and he's guaranteed not to hit telephone poles. I see you're impressed with all that's inside. So start up the motor. Let's go for a ride. Now it sounds like, now you can take a nap in this car and the robot is driving. I don't know, sounds like big problems. So let's find out if he realizes that there are problems in his invention. A car that smells good, now that's something new, but if I built a car, that's just what I do. Inside the engine, I'll add a machine to capture the odor of burnt gasoline and change it to something more pleasing to noses, like blueberry muffins or fresh picked roses. Now, I agree. I think that's a good part of the invention. It would be nice to have a car that smelled like blueberry muffins. What else could his car smell like? Raise your hand, give me an idea of what else his car could smell like. Aiden?
Grape.
Ooh, grapes, that would be yummy.
Actually, raspberry.
Raspberries. Who else wants to share? What else, Haley?
Chocolate.
Ooh, chocolate. That would be delicious. Let's get one more idea. Mohsen?
Cake. Like cookie.
Cake. Freshly baked cake. That would be yum, yum, yummy. All right, let's find out what happens. Now that we're cruising, let's head to the lake. There's no need to panic or slam on the brake. My car can do something that very few can. The fenders will float like a catamaran. We're skimming the waves and we're having a ball. But wait, hold your horses, because that isn't all. Boating is fine till we get the urge to dive underwater. So let's make a prediction. What is his invention going to be able to do? Who would like to share their response? Oh, I'm so glad Mohsen is being a great participator. Is there anyone else? Haley's being a good participator. Let's add Abel. Abel, what do you think's going to happen with the car? Can you unmute yourself, Abel? There you go.
He said this is go underwater.
So what do we call a machine that goes underwater?
A submarine.
A submarine. Let's find out. Oh my goodness gracious. This invention is pretty cool. Then just hit submerge. Robert will drive. Remember, Robert's the robot. As we burble about, we can see catfish and we can see trout. We might even spy the shy stickleback gar from inside our fabulous waterproof car. Now, in the text, it gave us evidence what type of water he is in. Is he in salt water or fresh water? Who knows? Is Jack in salt water or fresh water? There was evidence in the text that told us. Mohsen, do you know?
I need salt water.
It's not salt water. He's in fresh water. And the evidence that shows that is because we're seeing catfish and trout. Catfish and trout are found in freshwater lakes. So it is not in salt water. Last but not least, the best feature of all comes down to a button that's shiny and small. Push it, and then in the wink of an eye, the car will take off. We'll be up in the sky. So not only can this car go underground, but it can also fly. And look at that lady's reaction. She's in shock. She's like, oh my goodness, a flying car. Very interesting. We'll fly over land, we'll fly overseas to Alaska, Nebraska, Bermuda, Belize, or take a vacation when things start to freeze and fly us all down to the Florida Keys. If Jack was making this invention right now, what is the big problem in our lives right now? What could he not do? If he was in our world right now and he wanted to travel all over the place, what could he not do because of what we are experiencing? Haley?
Build seat buckles.
Say that again.
Build seat buckles.
I can't understand. Say it one more time.
Build seat buckles.
Oh, build seat buckles. Yeah, but what I'm saying is if he lived in our world right now, he would not be able to travel around the world because we're not allowed to leave our houses. So this could not happen in our world right now because we are ordered to stay at home. So hopefully soon. My car will be cool, my car will be keen, my car will be one big fantastic machine. The toast of the town, the cream of the crop, the belle of the ball, and the tip of the top. My car will be famous from here to Peru. If I built a car, that's just what I do. So in the end, he is back in his car, which means what? What does this last page tell you all about Jack? Let me turn off, let me open up your sound. All right, who wants to share it? Now that you see that he was in his car all along, what can you tell me about our main character, Jack? Mohsen?
Same chance of Jack.
Say that again.
Of Jack.
What about Jack? What could you tell me
Jack.
about Jack?
Jack built a car. Jack built a car.
Mohsen, did he really build the car?
No.
Give me a thumbs up if you think Jack did not build that car. Give me a thumbs up if you think Jack did not build that car. And that's because he was using his what? What was he using while he was riding in the car? Delana? Yeah, he was using his imagination. Jack is a very creative little boy, and he had this grand idea to build this amazing car. Do you think his car will ever be built?
Yeah.
Probably not. However, I have a feeling when Jack grows up, he's going to be an inventor and he'll build things that we can use in our life that will be helpful. I don't think they'll be so spectacular, crazy like that. So that was an excellent fiction story. Now, was this realistic fiction or was it fantasy? Now think about that, because remember, he was using his imagination. You think this could have been realistic fiction or fantasy? Nolan, what do you think?
Fantasy.
Well, it would be fantasy if his car was real, but I think it's realistic fiction, because can you drive around in your car and imagine inventing a car like this?
No.
Yes, you're allowed to imagine whatever you want. Your dreams can be as big as you want them to be. Jack just had big dreams. Jack is just a child that loves to create things and have imagination. So this is definitely a realistic fiction book. There is nothing in it that's... All right, boys and girls, nice job. That is our reading lesson for today. I will see you during math in the afternoon. Everyone say bye.
Bye.
Bye.